21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Existing businesses are going to grow 10x in the next few years. The theory behind is that, you may have a trajectory of whatever, you'll grow 2-3x, but there is an AI boost or AI factor, which is going to add another 5. So if through a normal trajectory over the next 4 years, you were supposed to get from 10 million to say 40 million, with AI, that a possibility now it looks at like 200 million. Basically, existing businesses are going to grow big. I've been an entrepreneur for the past decade and a half or more. My previous company was a D2C company, and the business was basically we were selling personalized supplementation for, and the market was US primarily. And what we saw was that it was an online business. Our model was that users would come to the website. There was a sort of a questionnaire. People would fill that, and we had built an algorithm which would kind of recommend the personalized supplementation for that individual. Now, it was pretty, we had put a lot of effort on that, and we optimized the web part significantly, where we took our, the questionnaire completion rate from, some 15% to over 75%. So that was working very well. But what we were seeing was we were not converting. People would come to check out or add to cart and then drop, poof, nothing would happen. And as back then as a founder, you want to kind of solve. So, I was trying to kind of look at it and, I started calling these customers. We had, because they were in checkout, we had their access. It could be email, it could be phone. So I started calling these people up. And as a result, I was able to start converting, so the conversion ratio was almost like 80-90%. So every 10 people I would call, 8 or 9 would buy. And we tried putting a lot of that information back into the website so that make it more informative, but numbers didn't change much. And back then it kind of felt there are these unique cases where people need to kind of have a question before buying, and they need some kind of a consultation, that kind of, and then they were so varied. Some people would kind of be worried about the ingredients. Some people would be kind of worried about the delivery cost, etc. So again, we kind of we had to shutter the business during COVID time. This problem stayed. Two years ago, when I was kind of looking at the AI, and then when this happened, that problem kind of manifested or came back to me in the sense that if I have a way to kind of now put myself or replicate myself and engage with these customers, and now with whatever we were seeing with ChatGPT, what was happening, we were saying maybe there is now a way to engage very humanly and meaningfully with these prospects and answer their questions. And just like a human resource would, your human sales representative would, which I was doing, we can possibly do it at scale. I wasn't able to do it at scale back then, probably could do more, maybe 10 in a day. So, whatever, we couldn't do it. So this problem, we kind of continued, and we said, this, we would want to kind of build it out. And that's began the journey of Zigment, that we said, can we help businesses engage with each and every customer, not most of them, but each and every customer meaningfully, and have a dialogue, not just kind of sending them reminders, emails, or some kind of SMS triggers, but actually get into a conversation. And they can respond. You can kind of have an actual consultation. As a personally, I'm a engineering graduate. Back in the day, had AI as my specialization. So AI has been a kind of a core subject. Although after college, I never got a chance to look at it, outside of my college project. But here was a chance that, okay, as a tech guy, as an engineer, as a business person, this was a perfect combination. The term we kind of use now is called consultative selling. So consultative selling, like a lot of businesses require consultative selling. So e-commerce, if you're going to buy a pair of shoe, you don't need to talk to somebody. You kind of know the brand, you know the size, you like the model, you buy it. But at the same time, if it is your a health package, or like you want to kind of join a yoga program, that's coming up, you have questions that, hey, I also have this backache, like, is this fine with me? And so that a lot of these services and products in our lives require consultative selling. So that's what we are kind of now building or focusing on. What we've seen is that when we were looking at, and among the kind of services and businesses that I have done, leaving the e-commerce thing aside, we kind of see that where your pretty much focus is on designing the better UI, designing products well, like your pages, landing pages, etc. So barring the e-commerce, most other products and services, be it real estate, be it your healthcare services, your insurances, etc., they all fall into what we call as consultative selling. Now, what that means is that before buying, nobody, very rarely would kind of somebody come to your website if you're selling houses, that, oh, I like the house, like I want to buy now. Like, never happens, right? There is a process that they would kind of put an inquiry or an interest, and then somebody from your team would reach out to them, like check with them, probably kind of warm them up, qualify, and then kind of set a meeting with your manager or like somebody senior in the team, who would do the closure, and there would kind of be phases around that. And the same happens with even larger financial products or cars, etc. So the way we kind of look at the world is this consultative selling has been traditionally very difficult, so it requires human resources. Now, for the very high-end products, like if you are selling Lamborghini, your product is at a point where you can afford a team of sales, people, like extremely, like high-end sales folks. But if your product is not Lamborghini, if your product is like a couple $1,000s or a few $1,000s, and it is not an e-commerce product, then how do you sell it? Traditionally, people have relied in okay, there'll be some call center somewhere in the remote part of the world, and they would kind of call them up. But we know that system is very inefficient. People may not pick up the phone. Call center may have a policy, okay, we're going to try 3 times in that 3 zones, and if they don't pick up, we mark them whatever, not interested, or not reachable. The way we now see is with AI and Gen AI and the kind of platform that we are building, we kind of are seeing that now there is a way to actually engage with all these your prospects, leads, and customers, and build an engagement. So say, for example, your website is selling an insurance policy, a complex insurance policy. You can now have that an AI agent on your website who said, hey, looking for can I help you? And then from there, it's basically not just support, not just kind of waiting for the user to ask questions, but you are like a good salesperson who would kind of drive the conversation right forward. So not just kind of saying helping the user, but also helping them make a choice. And then by giving them options, kind of making it interesting, pushing them down the funnel. So this is what we call consultative selling. And the way I see right now is that this is where we are seeing a lot of interest kind of growing amongst the business, because traditionally there is a lot of inefficiency in the system. Your leads could be generated, like businesses are spending tremendous amount of money on Google and Facebook and Instagram to generate leads. Now they'll generate leads, they go into your CRM, call center team will pick up probably, if you're lucky, on the same day, but in most cases it'll be a few days. So let's say a lead comes on like Friday evening, your call center is going to kind of reach out to them. Earliest would be Monday morning. So in the 3 days, the user probably has changed his mind or kind of has found something else, and you lose a lead. So that's where we are kind of saying that this system has been inefficient because there is a lot of drop and leakage in the system. And with AI now, we have the agentic AI, to be precise. We now have a way that we can start that sales motion like fairly immediately, and then help them with consultative aspect of selling. Today, or typically, any business has various touch points spread over. Like, so you have your website, you have your phone number, you have your social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. And then we know like various footprints. Your potential customers are, the customers reach out to these businesses from any of these touch points because they don't care. Like if they see a post on Instagram, they're going to comment on the post, or they're going to kind of send a DM. What's happening right now is that there is a lot of, so many touch points that businesses find it very hard to kind of reach out or engage with all these users. And basically that requires an addressal that makes it challenging. That how do you kind of then connect at every with every individual in time. What happens is that if something comes on social media, it probably would kind of social media team would respond to it in a few days, by which your the opportunity is lost. And what we think is that there is a term that we kind of like to build out, which is called the golden moment. Now, the golden moment is basically like how soon, the time frame in which a business engages with the customer. Now, there is a proven study and research around that. If you engage with your customers under 4 minutes, like if your prospect, if there is businesses can improve their probability of conversion 22x. So like your probability of conversion increases 22 times if you manage to get engage with them almost instantly. And then this is the golden moment, and I think this is extremely hard to achieve without AI. Like humanly, it is not possible. You cannot, have a team at scale which is going to kind of, just engage with every customer. So, in this much time. But with AI, now you have an opportunity to kind of, harness this golden moment and actually kind of, take it to, like deliver that 22x results, and that's the reason we kind of think that existing businesses are going to grow tremendously with AI. Like our thesis probably 10x is, I kind of feel it's pessimistic. It probably sounds large, but I think it is pessimistic. We are going to see way more growth in value over time. So the other aspect of like, why, humanly it is not possible to kind of, do that. So let's say if you are leads, and if you are generating, thousands of leads a day, and which large enterprises or like B2C companies are doing, it is practically impossible to scale like, based on that. And then we know that a lot of these marketing divisions of these companies, they restrict their, expansion because they know it's not possible. So they have to stagger, they have to figure out ways to kind of manually do it. But with AI now, we can actually scale. So if there is a business who is on the growth path of like, okay, we were doing 100 leads a day, and we had like a few members of the team to kind of to take care of that. Now we can actually scale 10x because we now have a system which will kind of scale automatically with with our volumes, and that kind of gives like almost like superpowers to the marketing teams and sales teams that okay, we now just have to figure out the unit economics, but everything else is kind of going to scale. So scalability issue, I think, is kind of one of the biggest things that kind of AI now helps us achieve. there are multiple views. When AI came in, there was like a doom and gloom view of AI in the world, that it's like people are going to lose jobs and we're going to see a lot of turmoil. Yeah, that's one view of it, and a lot of disruption is going to happen. But we as a humans have kind of faced a lot of these challenges, right from the mechanical age to kind of digital age, internet, kind of mobile, and a lot of disruptions have happened. Companies have only grown, like overall employment, if you see globally, right from the early 19th century to kind of now, the volume of people employed is way higher. So we've kind of generated more jobs than we have lost. So that kind of goes AI, and we kind of think that that's when we put AI to good use. I think there are a lot of things that we kind of believe good will happen. One of the things that we have done or we are doing right now is a lot of organizing or associating with charities in the US. So we have formed a partnership with give.org, which is one of the premier, affiliation or kind of, accreditation bodies in the US, which basically kind of, is an umbrella body for almost like close to 9,000 charities in the US. And we've forged a partnership with Give, through which we are bringing the use of AI into these charities. Now, nonprofits traditionally have very little resources. They have to, people are overworked. They have to do a lot with very little resources, and that's the idea to kind of, so when we kind of started discussing with Give team, we kind of presented the case that, yeah, I mean, there is a lot of good that we can deliver, and we would let us participate, let Zigment participate in that. And personally, I've been involved with them on a few projects. So that has given rise to a lot of kind of good things coming out. We are already kind of live with almost 4 charities now in the US, where their donor engagement, volunteer engagement, etc., is powered by Zigment. And this is not necessarily a very for-profit initiative that we are trying to kind of achieve. We kind of just want to kind of deliver the technological power to these nonprofits who are already kind of doing so much good. So that's our way of participating in AI for good, cause. Other than that, I think, I mean, here we are, engaged with, multiple things, otherwise, trying to kind of find out cases, use cases, etc. But I think this for nonprofit is one of our strong angles for 2025 and 2026 as well. So we have a number of, demo, conversation agents on our website, which is at zigment.ai, zigment.ai. And if you go to our demo section, you will see a lot of, that you can try out. And what difference that we've seen our customers also see is like, the engagement is so much more meaningful. And we've tried kind of staying away from making it transactional, because we see a lot of things in the world right now are become too transactional, all relationships, everything. So we want to kind of make it like meaningful engagement that you do with a machine as much as possible, of course. So that's something that I would suggest the listeners to take a look at. Also, you can follow my LinkedIn page to kind of, I post a lot of content there, regular blogs and posts around AI for businesses and everything else.
21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Imagine a space where triumphs, trials, and tales of entrepreneurship come alive. Welcome to the 21st Century Entrepreneurship Podcast, a gold awarded journey hosted by Martin Piskarik, connecting with listeners in 95 countries and ranking in the top 0.5% of all podcasts. Join our exclusive community, elevate your perspective, and embark on the path to success.